You can't just look at Diddy in isolation. You said this was done to him.
And at the same time, nobody wants this to be true, and it shouldn't have to be true.
Tensions exploded in court this week as Sean Diddy Combs lost his composure following a bombshell moment no one saw coming. Suge Knight, the infamous former Death Row Records boss and longtime rival of Diddy, stunned the courtroom by offering support for Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former girlfriend and the woman at the center of many of the abuse allegations leveled against him. What was already a tense, high-stakes trial turned into absolute chaos as Diddy visibly reacted to the betrayal, slamming his hands on the defense table and appearing to shout in anger as proceedings came to a halt. The courtroom was already packed with media, onlookers, and attorneys anticipating a week of intense testimony and high-profile witnesses. But the atmosphere shifted the moment Suge Knight's name appeared on the list of individuals submitting character statements. There were audible gasps when the judge confirmed that Knight, speaking from prison, had submitted a written declaration backing Cassie's credibility and condemning Diddy's alleged actions. Knight, who himself is serving time for voluntary manslaughter.
I'm just glad you're not implicating Dusty in the investigation, Suge, because I can't take that. To me, that sounds like what I hear when people are talking about abusive situations, hurt people.
Rarely involves himself in public legal proceedings anymore. His name alone carries weight, fear, and controversy. So when his statement was read aloud, it was like a bomb went off in the courtroom. According to courtroom insiders, Knight's statement included explicit support for Cassie's courage in coming forward, and claimed that many of us knew how he operated, but no one wanted to be the one to say it. He accused Diddy of creating a culture of fear and manipulation and said that Cassie's testimony reflected a truth that has been whispered about for years in the industry. The statement did not attempt to paint Knight as a moral authority, but instead served as a raw and direct condemnation of Diddy's alleged abuse and control. The impact was immediate. Diddy, who had remained composed and poker-faced throughout most of the trial so far, lost control. Observers said he looked visibly enraged, and a heated exchange between him and his attorneys followed. He appeared to argue loudly as his legal team tried to calm him. The judge ordered a brief recess, and Diddy stormed out of the courtroom with security following close behind. Court staff and journalists alike were left stunned. It was a rare moment of unfiltered emotion in a case that has so far been defined by carefully controlled narratives. The fallout outside the courtroom was just as intense. Social media platforms lit up with commentary on Suge Knight's unexpected involvement.
I respect your show and respect what you're doing, but the most important thing is there's got to be a solution.
He learned from others, and it was done to him, and then he did to others.
Many were quick to point out the irony. A man once considered the ultimate villain in hip-hop now taking a stand, however limited, in support of an alleged abuse victim. For some, Knight's support added a twisted kind of legitimacy to Cassie's claims. For others, it raised questions about the motives behind the move. Was this a genuine act of solidarity, or was Knight simply seizing an opportunity to publicly humiliate an old enemy?
You can't just look at Diddy in isolation. You said this was done to him.
And at the same time, nobody wants this to be true, and it shouldn't have to be true.
Whatever the motive, the effect was clear. Diddy's defense team was thrown off balance, and the prosecution used the disruption to reinforce its argument that Diddy's power and intimidation tactics were not just limited to private relationships, but extended throughout the music industry. Cassie, though not physically present during the reading of Knight's statement, later released a short comment through her attorney, expressing gratitude to those who have chosen to speak up despite fear, reputation, or history. Meanwhile, legal analysts say this unexpected twist could dramatically influence the trial's trajectory. Jurors, already dealing with emotionally charged testimony, now have to reconcile a statement from a former criminal rival who, despite his own past, is siding against Diddy. Some experts believe it could lend additional weight to the case, painting a broader picture of Diddy's alleged reign of fear behind the scenes.
Do you believe that Diddy is in danger in prison? And do you have advice for him based on what you just said?
Because once he gets to the point where they feel he's going to be suicidal to himself, harmful to himself.
Others caution that introducing a figure like Knight into the mix could backfire, potentially distracting from the central focus of the trial and opening the door for the defense to claim media manipulation and bias. Diddy's team has not yet addressed the incident publicly, but sources close to the camp suggest they were blindsided by Knight's participation. Behind the scenes, there are rumors that Diddy is furious with his inner circle for not anticipating the move. His longtime legal advisors are reportedly considering filing a motion to strike the statement from the record, arguing that it holds no legal relevance and is simply intended to cause emotional harm. But as of now, the judge has allowed the statement to stand. For Diddy, the moment marked a dramatic shift in courtroom dynamics. He has tried to present himself as calm, composed, and confident, a man in control. But Knight's intervention stripped that mask away. The visible anger, the loss of composure, the furious exit, it all gave jurors a glimpse of a different side. And that, in a case centered around accusations of emotional control, manipulation, and rage, may speak louder than any piece of physical evidence. The rest of the day's proceedings were subdued, with both teams regrouping and several witnesses postponed. But the tone had changed. Knight's name now loomed over the courtroom, and Diddy's outburst became the new focal point. Media headlines shifted from the case's facts to courtroom behavior, and analysts began re-examining the emotional volatility of the man at the center of it all. Public reactions have been mixed but passionate. Some view Knight's statement as a betrayal with personal vendetta written all over it. Others believe it adds a layer of industry truth that's rarely spoken out loud. Either way, it has complicated the legal strategy and reframed how Diddy is being viewed by the public, and more importantly, by the jury. As the trial heads into its second week, everyone is on edge. The judge has reportedly warned both parties to maintain decorum and ordered that future witness statements be reviewed more carefully before being read in open court. Diddy, now on damage control, must not only fight to disprove the serious charges brought against him, but also recover from a courtroom spectacle that exposed emotional fragility and hinted at guilt in the minds of many observers. It remains to be seen how Suge Knight's words will weigh on the final outcome. But in a trial already defined by betrayal, secrecy, and power, this latest turn has added an element of psychological warfare that neither side can ignore. What's clear is that the courtroom drama is far from over, and Diddy's image, once that of the untouchable mogul, is unraveling faster than anyone could have predicted.